Hi everyone, this is going to be a short video on how to do L moves correctly on Megaminx, because a lot of times when I watch people solve Megaminx, I'll see that they're doing L moves incorrectly. And so what correctly means is essentially you want to stay with your left hand as your anchor hand. So what a lot of people will do is they'll switch to the right hand and they'll just do wrist turns, just like how they do arm moves. But obviously that's a pretty big regrip, so you don't want to do that. And so the fingers you're going to use are going to be your index finger, your middle finger, and your thumb on your left hand. And so here are how to do each kind of L move. So for a regular L move, one of the ways you can do it, which is probably what I use the most, is I just have my left index finger where it sort of naturally rests, and I just push forward. And that's a pretty good way to do an L move. For a lot of these as well, if you have your middle finger resting on the back, you might need to sort of lift it up a little bit just to make room. Otherwise it can like sort of catch on the middle finger. But yeah, so just pushing forward like this works pretty well. And then another way you can do it is with your thumb, sort of moving it over to this corner and just pressing. I use that sometimes, but not super often. And then the last way is you sort of take off all of your fingers except for your pinky. And then you sort of grab the layer like this. This is a little bit more awkward to do. And then do sort of like it's kind of like a wrist turn, but you leave your pinky on the bottom. And that's really useful if you have a U, or a U prime rather, after the L move. So that's for L. Now for L prime, there is also a bunch of different ways to do it. So you can also do it with your index finger, similar to L. And what you do is you just move your index finger to the top layer like this, and you just sort of pull. That's a pretty good way to do it. And then another way to do it is you can use your middle finger. You sort of will probably have it sort of in this kind of position already, and you just like push like this. It's sort of like the thumb one, but on the other side. And then the last way of doing it is sort of like the last way to do the L move. It's essentially just going the other direction. You can also do it like regripping, or you can do it without regripping. This is really useful. A lot of times you don't really want to do L inserts, but if you have this L insert specifically, I mean, it's pretty straightforward to do like that. So that's pretty straightforward. And then for L2, it's pretty similar, right? So the main way that I would say you should do it is with your left index finger. Is sort of like L, but you just keep going. So it's just like a longer push. You sort of curl your finger like that. And then another way you can do it is with your thumb again, right, where it's sort of like a drag like this. So your thumb moves a little bit more. So yeah, that's how you do L2. And then for L2 prime, this is arguably the hardest one. So you can do it again with your index finger like this. It's sort of just like you keep going after you move it down to do an L prime. And sometimes when I do that, I'll sort of have my middle finger guiding the first part of the move. And then the other way to do it, which I use pretty often, because although it's a little slower, it's very consistent, is actually regrip my thumb down here, and then you can just do like a double flick, and that works pretty well. So that's how you do pretty much all of the L moves you're going to need to do on Megaminx. And hopefully you find finger tricks that work. A lot of people talk about using swag L moves, which is basically the finger tricks with the index finger. But I know that doesn't work for everybody because of like finger sizes. So hopefully some combination of like the thumb and middle finger moves, you'll find a way that will work for you.